That's fine. So I'm joined today on MMA Radio with JJ Aldrich, UFC. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself?
Awesome. I'm fine. Just looking forward to talking to you. You've actually been a fighter I've been wanting to talk to for a while, but it's just one of those things. Schedules don't line up together. I wanted to try and get you either before or after a fight, but we've got you now, so all good. So are you in Colorado at the moment?
Yes, I am. Colorado, born and raised, lived here my whole life. So,
Awesome. Which part of Colorado?
Denver, just like the outskirts of Denver. It's all pretty close together. So,
It's like a mecca for the MMA scene there. Do you think that being from anywhere other than Denver would have been slightly different for you in terms of MMA?
I don't think so. I started young doing martial arts and kind of grew from there. I think I just kind of got lucky, um, being born and having such great gyms around me that I didn't really have to travel anywhere. I hear a lot of stories of other people like having to move from their hometowns because they don't really have good gyms around. So I think I just kind of lucked out with it.
And has it been Denver ever since? Certainly, you've not had to worry about going anywhere to pick up some new tools, nothing like that.
No, no, I got the
Awesome.
elevation, which is good, and all the technique in the world. So it's been a blessing for sure.
Without a doubt. Have you been training today? Has that been something that you've been getting on with today?
Yeah, yeah. I trained earlier this morning with the elevation girls.
Hmm.
Did some grappling rounds, and it was good training.
And who was that? Was that way? Just trying to think, like Mallory Martin and people like that?
Yep, Mallory and Montana's in town training.
Hmm. What about Miranda Maverick? Is she in yet, or is she still just transition?
Yeah, she moved in here. I haven't really trained with her too much yet,
Hmm.
a few times, but I just got back from my fight and she's kind of
Of
trying to get
course,
into the flow of training. So,
yeah, I'm sure it'll happen soon enough. So, as we said, you've not long fought yourself. So, is this kind of training just keeping fit, maintaining your fitness, or are you always back in there going really hard for your training?
yeah, I came out with no injuries and didn't have any injuries from fight camp. So, very lucky in that sense. So, no injuries, might as well get back to work. Nothing crazy as far as like, it's not like a fight camp, but always something to get better at and improve and no time to waste. So, I like to get back as soon as possible.
What's the standard for? So, when you've had a fight, is it usually a month or something, like no contact, and then you can kind of jump right back in?
Yeah, I think it depends, fight to fight. I know my fight with Courtney, my leg was kind of banged up from getting kicked in it, so
Yeah.
I made sure I wasn't like sparring and getting kicked in the leg. So I think it just depends fight to fight how many punches you take to the head and whatnot. But I really didn't get too much damage from this last fight, so just do what I can. Grappling a lot. I'll probably won't spar for a couple weeks or so, but other than that, just you can never drill enough. So drilling, grappling, anything I could do to keep growing, but not pile on to injuries.
Yeah. Are you training at elevation full time, or are you still splitting up between? You're at 303. Are you still going there?
No, no, we
No.
switched almost a year ago, and we're full time at Elevation Fight Team.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
So talking about that last fight, so yeah, we know why you weren't banged up too much as well, considering the if we want to go into that. So it was an absolute clinic, certainly a JJ Aldrich clinic in the way that you came forward. You were very relentless. Now moving forward, have you watched it back since? And if so, how's your feelings looking back?
Yeah, we have watched it back a few times. And I feel really good about being able to implement everything that we've been trying to do in fight camp. Just different things like specific things as far as control and staying mentally focused throughout the whole 15 minutes if it goes that long. So stuff like that I was really happy that I was able to do and very excited about my growth from the fight camp. It was a long fight camp. We got like a 15-week notice or something like that. So we hit the ground running with it. So I felt very good walking into it. Just different opponent last minute kind of shook
Yeah.
things up a little bit, but I feel like my team came together really well. They trust me to fight whoever. So as soon as Tracy pulled out, I was like, whoever they find, just say yes and let's fight.
Yeah, you were ready to go. So what we've been able to see a lot about from your fights of past, you don't always get a fight where you come out very unscathed, but you've got a lot of back and forth. You've been in a lot of back and forth wars with people, right? So, coming into this, going into that, did you have a moment where you were during that fight and you were like, you know what, this is my fight. I've got it in the bag. She's getting no answers for me. Did you have any kind of confidence to that level throughout, maybe halfway through the fight?
I never try to count anyone out because it's a fight game. Anything can happen, and she's super tough. I know that she wasn't going anywhere easily, so I was trying to just stay focused on that and stick to what we've been doing. I definitely felt I was winning all the exchanges on the feet and on the ground.
Yeah.
I didn't feel too endangered in any situation, so I was very confident in my abilities in throughout the entire fight as a whole. But yeah, I know that she's also really good at jiu-jitsu, and she has like some really good like unorthodox submission. So I just really want to make sure I wasn't getting caught in anything like that. She had like a reverse triangle submission. She's really good at leg locks and stuff like that. So I think just being aware of that and not getting caught in anything stupid was just the most thing I had to be aware of.
Do you think that her UFC debut and just being under the lights, if you will, do you think that played any part in her performance? Did you see anything like that? Or
It's crazy because I've been in her situation before. I got called up 10-minute notice for my first UFC fight, and I know that when those lights come on, it's a different feeling that comes over you. So, during weigh-ins, I feel like I kind of felt that from her a little bit, but I feel like when the lights came on, she was preparing for a fight that weekend already, so she was ready to go as far as like being peaked, ready to fight. So when she got the call, I do believe that when those lights turned on, she looked ready to me, and she came out fighting. She came out to win, It wasn't like she was going in there just to take an L. So I give it to her. She came to fight.
Yeah, she was very aggressive,
yeah,
to say the least. So just jumping on to Tracy Cortez. So we know that Tracy Cortez, certainly in her own right, has developed quite a name. She's very popular in terms of promotion as well. Did you feel, I mean, how could we put it? So you're fighting someone like Tracy Cortez. We know that beating Tracy Cortez is going to have bigger props to you for that in the sense of fighting a name. How did you feel when the opponent change happened? Were you kind of like, I wanted this person, this is who I've trained for, beating this person's going to provide me with a lot bigger props? Did you have any kind of moments at that? Like, I'm getting an opponent who's lesser known. How am I going to cope with that? Or was it all good?
Yeah, it was kind of tough because the Tracy fight is something that I actually really wanted. Like you said, she does have a big name. It would have been a really big win for me. And we trained really hard for her. I do feel like I was 100% ready in my preparation. So when I heard that she had fallen off, it's kind of weird how I heard it, but when I heard that she had fallen off, I was upset because of, that being such a good fight for me at the time. But then it kind of turned into like, am I going to fight at all?
Yeah.
So a couple days went by without me knowing if I was even going to have a fight. So by the time they found me a fight, I was just thankful that I was still going to get to fight.
Yeah.
And so my coaches did a great job of just keeping, for those few days that we didn't know if we were going to have a fight or not, just keeping me focused like, hey, we're still training every day like we have a fight, and the game plan doesn't change. So just go out there and go train and keep your mind straight. And the UFC and Mick Maynard did an amazing job of finding me somebody. They made sure I was going to fight that night. So I'm appreciative to them. And no, it's not the fight that I wanted, but it was a fight, and I'm just happy to go out there and perform.
Yeah. How did you find out about the Tracy fight being off? Did you get told in training, or how did that work out?
No, so it was kind of weird. We were getting our COVID test sent to us, and they're like, "Oh yeah, what address do you want it sent to?" And I was like, "Oh, send it over here." And they're like, "Oh, never mind. I heard you're out." I was like,
no.
What do you mean I'm out? And then they're like, "Oh no, it was the wrong person, wrong fighter." I was like, "No, something's fishy." So we called Mick, and he's like, "Yeah, Trace is out. I just heard like 2 hours ago." I was like, oh no. So I was like
Oh,
really upset. But yeah, it was kind of crazy how I don't think I was supposed to find out that soon, but
it's the
kind of
first.
glad I did.
It's the first I've heard of that as well. But listen, you got to fight. You got to fight. You still got to show off your skills, and you still got to get that win and remind people of kind of how dangerous you can be. So I think that still win-win. Live to fight another day. So correct me here. So every time I see you fight, I think the last fight we got to see a lot of your skills, very well rounded. But another part for me personally, I think you're very tough and gritty. That's things that resonate with me. Like as I said, you've been in a lot of scraps. Does that sound like you, tough and gritty? Would you say so?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely like to go in there and bang it out. I think I'm growing into a more complete fighter as far
Yep.
as like I don't have to go into every fight and prove I'm a better striker than them,
Mm-hmm.
get out of my own way a little bit, take them down, make it a little bit easier for myself in certain spots and not take as much damage. In the past, I have just stood there and brawled it out. So I'm trying to get better at still striking, out striking
Mm-hmm.
people, but mixing it up, keeping them guessing. And it actually makes my striking a lot easier when
Mm-hmm.
you add in different elements. So yeah, I definitely do like tough, gritty fights. Just bringing out that warrior spirit within myself makes you feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah, but with that tough and gritty, I mean, not to say that it's all that, because you do have a lot of patience as well. As you said, it's kind of getting to the complete fighter, and you're beginning to see everything come together. So I was reading a bit about your upbringing, just a lot of adversity that you faced in the past. Now I won't go into that, but just in regards to like homelessness and a lot of things that you kind of developed growing up, how much do you think that influences the attitude that you've got today?
I think it has a lot to do with it. I think growing up, not having everything given to you, you kind of have to learn how to fight for what you want in life, and that translates into the cage. You gotta fight through life, and it makes you tough and gritty. And I kind of feel like that upbringing is what kind of like shaped me into the fighter I am today.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fine. So
Yeah.
you were in the Ultimate Fighter very briefly, and then of course you went to Invicta and stuff. What was it like? Just a very quick recap on that. What was it like going from almost being so close to the goal and then going back down? Invicta's respected in their own right. How did it feel going from there to there and then back to there? If you can sum it up in a word.
Yeah, that was extremely hard. You know, getting onto tough, you kind of feel like, yeah, I made it. And
Yeah.
then you kind of like get knocked off the ladder. You got to make your way back up there. And thankfully, I'm actually thankful the way it all happened because I think I had like 3 pro fights
Mm-hmm.
when I was on the Ultimate Fighter. And I fought Tatiana. That's who I lost to. And she's an amazing fighter.
Yeah.
So having that loss and that experience on tough and then going back and getting a few more fights under my belt, I feel like it was actually the best thing for me in the long run. Looking
Mm-hmm.
back at the time, it was the worst feeling ever because you feel like you made it and you don't. So having to go back, get a few more fights and really just getting better, maturing. I was also only 23 years old, so I was a
Just a
little
kid.
young too. Yeah. And so it was kind of crazy. The journey and path I had to take. Like I said, I also
Mm-hmm.
took a fight 10-day notice, and that's how I got into the UFC. But I'm very grateful for that because I feel like it's given me longevity in the UFC, and I think that's kind of something not everyone gets. What if they would have taken me right away, and I would have been a fighter that had 2, 3 fights, and I was out. And this next fight will be my 10th fight in the UFC, not including the Ultimate Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it gave me a good chance to get better slowly and have longevity.
And I mean, as the saying goes, you can get to the UFC. It's about kind of staying in the UFC, and I think that
Yes.
remarkably you've done that, and that's certainly what the goal was. So no, that's awesome. So just jumping across, right? Next opponent. So you are wanting to fight again this year?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
It's already September,
yeah,
so
it's getting there.
we'll see. I know that they're already booking for December, so realistically maybe January, February, but we'll see
Yeah.
what they offer if they offer anything before then.
So early 2022 then, for that matter. So I still think that the Cortez fight, don't know if it needs to happen, but I do think it will happen. I mean, there's another opponent that I've been watching now. You'll be familiar with Molly McCann from Liverpool.
Yeah, I made sure I watch everyone in the division, so.
Yeah. So you're very close in the rankings, and I mean, with regards to fan favourites, I think that would be a good fight. Has that ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, after her last fight, I think that would be a really fun fight, actually.
Oh, yes.
I think that'll be a more exciting fight for me right now than booking the Tracy fight again, only because I already trained for Tracy. I trained hard for Tracy for 15 weeks, and I showed up the night I was supposed to. So I'm sure that fight will happen eventually, but I'm not too eager to take it right away. Something more exciting like a Molly fight, I think that would be, something to get up for and train hard for. And I think it could be a very exciting fight.
I can tell you that America and Europe coming together for that would be amazing. Liverpool and the country of Europe, England and stuff, they've got so much fans going on, and Molly McCann's got a very, very big fan base. And yourself, I think that for your career at this stage, I think it'd be perfect. Now, I don't know if she's got her career, her contract on the go yet. I know that she was negotiating stuff, but hopefully if she gets it going, that's something that can be announced. Did you watch her last fight?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I try to watch all the fights. I think she kind of, embodies that European style fighter, and she's very spirited, and that's why I think it would be such a great fight and an exciting fight to train for. And she looked really good, but yeah, it'll be a good fight for me if that fight does come together. I think she said something about maybe a hurt hand or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
How eager she's wanting to get back in there. So, or how fast, I should say. But yeah, if that fight was offered, I'd definitely be interested.
So would we. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it'd be great for the fans too.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, I hope so. Like I said, unpredictable things in the UFC happen, so you never know. So, Miranda Maverick and Macy Barber. So, as you said, you watch the division closely. What did you think of that? Miranda Maverick all the way?
I think it's a very close fight. I didn't watch that fight back. Mm-hmm. I think, to be fair to both sides, I think I would have to go back and watch the second round because I feel like that's the round that was the determining round. Originally watching it live, I thought Miranda won it. But yeah, I think to be fair, I would have to go back and watch round 2.
So, although you're not close together in the sense of division and rankings, how much would you want to fight Macy Barber again, run it back? I mean, the first fight was great. As I said, it's one of those fights where you've seen a lot going on. We know the outcome, but we also seen a lot of positive moments in that fight as well. Is that something that not sits on your mind, but something that you think before you get to the end of your career, you'd love to run it back?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely one that sits heavy on me, only because I feel like I dropped the ball on my behalf in that fight. Just mentally, I shouldn't have been fighting anybody, and I don't like to make excuses. She won fair and square, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely a fight that was a little bit heavy on me at times, and but at the same time made me grow a lot as a fighter and as a person. So thankful for it. And yeah, if it ever comes up again, we're both still young in this sport coming up, and the goal's the top. So if we meet each other again on the way up there, then I'd be happy about it for sure.
Would you say it's the most exciting division, certainly for women at the moment?
Yeah, I would like to say that, but also the strawweight division is exciting. It's a tight run at that strawweight division. So I feel like, Valentina is such a dominant champ right now, and everyone's trying to chase her. I feel like they're both exciting in their own ways. The women are the 25ers. There's so many of them right now, and I feel like it's a really young, upcoming division, whereas we're all still, growing a lot, and the strawweights are so close. I feel like it's a really fun. Both of the women's division, 15 and 25, are really fun right now to watch.
Would you ever consider, I don't know if you've ever had any moments in your career when you thought about it, but have you ever thought about going down?
I used to fight at 15.
Did you used to fight at 15?
Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
think
I
about
think
going down in the
it was
UFC?
my first 4 fights in the UFC at 115, and it was a really hard cut for me. I don't cut much weight now, going to
Hmm.
25, but I think it's because my body kind of regulated and back to where it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was getting really hard to make 115, and just my body wasn't reacting well. And honestly, the training camp was all about making weight, not getting better, and it wasn't a good time. So
Yeah.
now I feel super strong. I don't feel outpowered at 25. I don't feel undersized at 25. I feel like I'm really starting to come into my own and just grow and focus. Each training camp, I could focus on getting better and not just stress the whole time about making weight.
Yeah, and you can see it. As I said, you can see it in your performance. You can see the confidence. You can see a good, even distribution of everything coming off. So yeah, I think, yeah, I was just curious there. I never took into account that you fought there before, but it's interesting now to know. So I'll need to go back and have a wee look at that. But that's brilliant. So Fug Rose, how's Fug Rose Namajunas doing? Have you had a wee chat with her recently?
Oh yeah, she's doing good. They're out there in Minnesota. They've been training out there for the last month, so they're doing good.
What do you think about the rematch? I mean, do you think Zhang Wei Li, do you think she was worthy of getting a rematch? I mean, it was a very quick finish. There's a lot of politics in the MMA sport about who should get and who should get what. Do you think that that's warranted, or do you think someone else should have maybe got it?
I think there's arguments on both sides, and I feel like people would be happy with the rematch, and then people are going to be happy if, you would have given it to Carla. So I feel like there's good arguments on both sides. But I think either way, Rose is training really hard. Rose is amazing, so it's not going to be close.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. So, what kind of JJ Aldrich? So, we've seen what you've brought to the table so far. Hopefully, we see you this year. If not, next year, no doubt. What kind of JJ Aldrich could we expect that we've perhaps never seen in that last fight?
For me, my personal goals is always just to grow and get better. I think the thing that's gotten me to, almost 10 fights in the UFC is the fact that I'm getting better each fight, and I'm not plateauing. I'm holding myself accountable to grow and grow and grow. You see a lot of fighters that get up there and fights and have a lot of fights in the UFC, and every time you see them, they're the same fighter.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's my biggest goal, is to not be the same fighter from fight to fight. Get better, grow, and never be stagnant.
Do you think you'll break that top 10 by next year?
Oh, I hope so. I've been working hard for it, so we'll see.
It's a
Fingers
very,
crossed.
very, very dangerous spot to be in, but also very exciting and the pinnacle, if you will.
Yes.
So, anybody that you would like to give a shout out to, just so far in your career, how you've got into the UFC and who's helped you along the way, just while you're on the show?
Everybody, it's been a long journey. I've had a lot of different training partners over the years, coaches, and so on. So yeah, just anyone and everyone that's helped me get to where I'm at today, my team over at Elevation that push me every day, and my coaches, and making sure they're on me about, like I said, my goals of getting better, yeah.
Want the ultimate best for you. So, what's your best social media for fans? Because we know that Instagram's number one. Twitter, most fighters have a Twitter, but they never use it. What's the best one to get you and follow your journey?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. Instagram's number
Instagram.
one, just my name. And then I have a Twitter, but I'm not on it very often, but it's still just my name. So you could just type in my name.
Awesome. Well, JJ, it's been an absolute pleasure. As I said, I've always wanted to talk to you, get the chance to learn a bit more about you. I try my best not to ask too much trivial questions and try and mix it up a wee bit. But all the best to you. As I said, if you get a fight this year, I can't wait. Next year, it doesn't matter. We're all fans and we all just want to see you in action as soon as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on, and sorry it was so hard to get me.
No problem at all. You take care. Maybe catch up with you at some point during the next fight.
For sure. Sounds good.
Awesome. You take care, all right? Thank you.
Thank you.